Here's how I used Magic the Gathering to help my indie game. And just for some context on Magic the Gathering, it's a collectible card game created by Wizards of the Coast, first released in 1993. There's about 27,000 unique cards and approximately 50 million players as of February 2023, so massively popular. On this channel, and for roughly the last 2-ish years, I've been talking a lot about solo indie game development. I've talked about features, bugs, packages, libraries, art, all the good stuff, but that's all digital. It's floaty, it's up in the air, it's ones and zeros, almost ephemeral. But sometimes I want to hold something tangible, physical to hold. And since I don't have a girlfriend at the moment, I suppose Magic the Gathering cards is a good replacement. But I don't actually mean playing Magic the Gathering, I mean literally holding the cards, looking at them, fidgeting with them. Here's why. For my indie game Castlemancer that I've been working on for roughly the last year, cards are the main player interaction, similar to games like Slay the Spire, Hearthstone, or really any other deck builder type of game. But what separates Castlemancer from the crowd is the actual act of playing a card, which I highlighted in a previous devlog. In most other games, you move the card from your hand and play it, where the content of the card is what's important. But I wanted the cards in Castlemancer to both matter in content and in physicality. So whatever card I play, its effect literally happens on the card in the game world. I implemented some initial characteristics to help make the card in-game feel real, like physics, resistance, the tilting the card, shadows, particles, etc. But again, I wanted something physical to see what it's actually like. So I went out and bought a pack of Magic the Gathering cards. I figured, hey, if Magic the Gathering is so popular, it must be doing something right. And I kept these cards on my desk. From time to time, I would play, fidget with them. I looked at how the information was portrayed, what were the key areas my eyes went to, how they felt in my hand, how I naturally held them, how the information looked when I was holding them, or how it looked when I rotated them. I dropped them onto my table and practiced throwing them on my desk to see what actually happens when you drop this little piece of cardboard in the real world. So here's some things that I learned. In terms of the presentation of information, the general structure is name of the card on top, resource cost in the upper right, card art below, the type of card, the card rarity, the description of the card effect, sometimes with some flavor text, and then if the card is a creature, then the attack and health in the bottom right. So a couple interesting points that I noticed is that with the resource cost in the upper right, I naturally spread the cards to the right, meaning that the resource costs get hidden when I kind of fan out the cards. Also, I really like the flavor text on the cards because it really helps with kind of just general world building or lore stuff. The art is also really amazing and varies a lot in artistic style, which I think is really cool. In terms of the physics of the card, I don't want to brag, but I think I'm getting pretty close with replicating it. The only additional thing I think I could add is some sort of air resistance effect, where the card kind of floats down a bit more, but otherwise, I'm liking it. Now, I don't know too much about Magic the Gathering, but the other major thing I noticed when I bought the pack of cards was the act of actually opening the pack. The anticipation of what cards I was gonna get, but I don't even really know the game, so why would I care about the cards? I'm not sure, but maybe it's like a basic human trait to have the anticipation for the unknown or something? Or maybe there's some sort of nostalgia associated with it, because I used to be into Pokemon cards, and maybe this is bringing me back to like buying Pokemon packs and wondering what's the next one I'm gonna open. And maybe that's kind of why loot boxes in games are kind of so addicting. I don't exactly know. And I did all of this to help add that realism to my game. I wanted to feel literally like you were dragging a card into a magical world and seeing its effects. And you may be asking yourself, like, why would I focus on this so much? And why even bother with all of these micro interactions? I mean, ultimately, all of this could equally be achieved with simple buttons instead of cards, right? But that's when user interface and user interaction really becomes important. Both how to display important information in not only the most digestible way to a user, but also the most enjoyable. For example, on websites, you could literally just have black text on a white background, and that's generally pretty easy to understand, but it loses its beauty and ultimately its enjoyability. And you could likewise go too far in the opposite direction, where the information is presented so artistically that it actually dilutes or confuses the message. Similarly for actual user interactions, if you think of every game, you can probably boil it down to like 3 major interactions that could essentially be buttons, but again, that loses its fluidity, feel, and beauty. So that's ultimately why I've been trying to study these physical Magic the Gathering cards. Not because I really want to play Magic the Gathering, although I'd be open to it, but to learn the dynamics of cards and card games in the physical world, so that I can better give that feel to the player in my digital world. Let me know what you think, and please wishlist Castlemancer over on Steam. Thanks. Thank you all for watching. My name is Michael. We make computer science, tech, game development type videos. If any of that does sound interesting, consider subscribing. Like this video to help your boy out with that YouTube algorithm. Wishlist Castlemancer over on Steam. We do a bad British accent at the end of every video. That's all from me. Hopefully I see you in another one. Bye-bye.